Hello friends, welcome to St. Thomas School. Today we are going to study the lesson number 2, History and Evolution of Computer. In this lesson we have to know how the computers were improved from one to another. So before knowing the generation of hardware and the software, we have to know some earliest device which helped to develop and improve the latest computer which we are using nowadays. So let's get started. Some earliest devices. Abacus. It was the first earliest device which used to perform simple calculations like addition, subtraction, multiplications, division. In 1642, Blaise Pascal developed the first basic calculator having limited job. Means it was not supporting like nowadays the calculator which we are using. It was used to perform only calculations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, that is called the arithmetical calculation. But it was not performing calculation of the big numbers. In 1960, Levins developed the machine which could perform addition, subtraction, multiplications, division and calculate the square root. So it was better than the Blaise Pascal because it was capable to perform the arithmetical calculations as well as a square root of a given number. But it has a drawback. What was the drawback? The once instruction is written could not be changed because instructions were hard coded. That was the main drawback of the machine which was developed by Levins in 1960. Then Charles Babbage built a model that is called the difference engine in 1822, which could perform calculations without human intervention. Means this difference engine, once taken in instruction by the user, it was performing calculations by own self without taking help of human. In 1833, the Babbage designed another machine that was analytic engine, which was based on the technology of modern computers. It performed arithmetical calculations with storage capacity. Means first time we got the concept of storing the informations, instructions and what we have calculated. That means calculations and results. That's why Charles Babbage is known as the father of computer. Some earliest device. Moving ahead. ENIAC. ENIAC stands for Electrical Numerical Integrator and Calculations. It was the first machine used large number of vacuum tubes, and due to using the large number of vacuum tubes, it required a big space and it took a lot of energy. For that we need to cool it. Further, it had the punch card as an input and output. Instructions had to feed using switches because there were no internal memory within the machine. For giving the instructions, they were using the switches. There was no concept of internal memory. It was invented and designed by the Presper Eckert and John W. Moseley in 1946. So after knowing some earliest devices, now we are moving ahead and we are going to see the generation of computers based on the hardware. So as we know in the previous lesson, the hardware is the physical components of computer. So in this generation we are going to know how the computers were, especially the hardwares were improved from one generation to another. So let's see that. There are 5 generations: first generation, second, third, fourth, fifth. First generation start from 1945 to 1955. In this generation, the computers were using vacuum tubes. They were bigger in size. They were slower to perform the calculations. They were the less efficient. They used punched card for input and the output. Suffered with the heat and maintenance problems. The programs of that devices were coded in machine language, and as we know, the machine level language is written in 0 and 1, which is difficult to understand. Example of computers are IBM. If you talk about the example of this generation, that is IBM. IBM stands for International Business Machine. Second generation starts from 1955 to 1965. If you talk about this generation computers, they used transistors instead of vacuum tube. And that transistor is a small component which is made of semiconductor materials. You can see in this photo, this is a transistor, and this transistor is smaller than the vacuum tube. And due to this, the computers of this generation were faster, smaller in the size. They worked with the higher level language like Algol and Fortran, not on the machine level language. And as we know, the higher level language is easier to understand because this is the English like language we have to see in the next chapter. They were more capable to store the data and informations compared than first generation. Example of this generation is IBM 1620. Third generation starts from 1965 to 1980. In this generation, computers used IC, that is called integrated circuit. And IC is fixed on the silicon chip which consumes less power. You can see in this photo, this is a integrated circuit, and using the IC instead of transistor, the computer of this generation were flexible and smaller. They were taking the less power, and the computers of generations are faster, reliable than the previous generation, well suited for the commercial applications. That's why the computers of these generations were known as mini computers. Example of these computers: IBM 360, PDP-8, PDP-11. Fourth generation start from 1980 to 1989. In this generation, computers used VLSI instead of using integrated circuit, and that allow the rapid application development. Rapid application development means if you want quick development in the field of applications or the softwares, so it was possible due to the using the VLSI, very large scale integrated circuit. And that's why the computers were easier to use for personal applications, and it was used for network work also. PC developed. In this generation, the concept of the PC were developed. Computers are very user friendly, means we can say the concept of the graphics icons were more improved. Example of this generation: IBM, Apple II, supercomputers. Supercomputer is the fastest computer of India. Fifth generation computers start 1989 to till date. Means in this generation still we are developing, means this generation is still under development. The computers of this generation are more portable, sophisticated, superior in processing speed, user friendliness and connectivity to network, support AI techniques. Technique means artificial intelligence, which works like a human being, but this generation has no thinking power, so that's why the developments are going on. All the researchers and the developers are trying to make it just like a human being, so that it can take own decisions. As we know, the computer doesn't take own decisions. We give instructions, so according to our given instructions, computer performs some work. Examples of this generation: IBM notebook, Pentium PCs, Param 10,000. Now talking about the generation of computers based on software. So first, what is software? So as we know, the software is group of program which is used to perform some certain task. First generation. In the first generation, computers were using the machine level language that used two symbols 0 and 1, that is called the binary language, and that language is very difficult to understand. It is platform dependent, means once the program is written for this computer, it cannot be run to the another computer. That is the meaning of platform dependent. Second generation, instead of using the machine level language, in second generation assembly language were used, and that use mnemonics codes. What is mnemonics codes? Mnemonics codes means instead of writing a one line, they were using the special code. Like for jumping, they were using jump, G-U-M-P, jump. And if you compare the machine level language, this type of the language, I mean the assembly language, is easier to read and write. But as we know, the computer always understand the machine level language, so they needs translator in the assembly language, so that it can translate from assembly language to machine level language. So there was a assembler. So assembler is a translator which translates from assembly language to machine level language and machine level language to assembly language. Third generation. This generation, computers were using higher level language, that is English like language, easy to read and write. It's also easy to translate, and to translate from higher level to machine level language, compiler and interpreters are used. Both are the translators, but the working style of compiler and translators are different. Compiler read and translate entire programs at a time, but interpreter read one line, run, then run, means it read and run line by line, but compiler read all program at a time and run all the program at a time. Example of this generation: C language, COBOL and Java. Fourth generation. It is very easy to use because it required the special programming language. That's why it reduced programming effort by just specifying what to do instead of how to do. So means suppose if you want to perform some task, so no need to tell how to do, just you assign the task and tell what have to do, the computer will do. So in this generation, SQL is used, structured query language. Fifth generation, designed to make the computer solve a given problem without the programmer. Means they want to make just like a human being. Once the task has assigned, and computer can take own decisions. It doesn't wait for the operator. Operator will come and give instructions. It can decide by own self on the basis of the data which given by user. Some other applications of these languages are AI, artificial intelligence. You can see robots are working on the sensor and some other devices. People started to make the human clone also. AI can handle human-like activities like voice recognitions, instructions detections, etc. Types of software. System software. System software manages computer hardware and behaves like types of software. System software manages computer hardware and acts as interface between computer hardware and application software. We can say it provides the bridges between the computer hardware and application software. Example of this software is operating system. The function of operating system is booting computers properly. Booting is the process of loading the OS file to the RAM and checking all the devices connected to the memories are ready to work or not. If they are not ready to work, give the appropriate message to the user. Managing the memory, channeling data from secondary memory to primary memory. It has a work to take the data from the secondary memory to primary memory so that it can be processed. Managing printers and other resources. Application software. It is a special type of software which provides specific functionalities to user, like word processing software, presentation software, movie maker, etc. Banking software, school management software. Some popular computers: PC or desktop computer, laptop computers or notebook computers, handheld computer, tablet computer, wearable computers. Now talking about the PC or desktop. Actually these computers are kept on the desktop, that's why it is known as the desktop computer. You can see in the photo. And this is the most popular computers. It's easier to use and more affordable. Normally used by the individual person as per his requirements. It has CPU, monitor, keyboard and mouse. It is used in office, bank, shopping mall, etc. Laptop or notebook. This is portable and lightweight so that we can carry from one place to another. It works on the battery, means if the power is not there, once the battery is charged, so it can work for 2 or 3 hours. It depends on the battery type. Most of the same components as a desktop computers, including a display, keyboard, pointing devices such as touchpad and speakers into a single unit. Means all the work which we do on the desktop we can do through the laptop one also. The thing is that it's a portable, it's work on the battery. If the power is not there but you have a charge of the laptop, you can work for hours. Nowadays a thin version of laptop called the Ultrabook is becoming the more popular. It's easy to carry because it has a lightweight, but it's more expensive and the more sophisticated, delicate, so we have to care it. It is high powered, low voltage processor with long life battery. Handheld computers. So you can see it's known as personal digital assistant, that is called the PDA. Basically this is used, suppose you are traveling from one place to another and you want to show some presentation to someone else, or you want to keep some notes, so we can use this. They are very small compared than the laptop, so that it can be put in the pocket. It can be carried anywhere. They use a stylus and accept handwritten input directly on the screen. The stylus is just like a pen, or we can say the digital pen. Using that we can operate that device. They are useful in the applications like scheduling appointments, storing contacts, addresses, and playing games. Tablet computers. This is just like a laptop, but in this tablet computers we have a calling facilities, means all the features of the mobiles are carried out by this tablet. It's smaller than the laptop. It's a portable and mobile computing tool. We can say it's a portable and mobile computing tool which touch screen facility. Use on-screen virtual keyboard instead of using the physical. It has a stylus pen or digital pen. There are two types of the tablet. The one slate tablet PC where keyboard is not attached, means it has a virtual keypad only, or keyboard we can say. The another is a convertible tablet PC, which is same as laptop, that can swivel and fold on to the keyboard to create the tablet. Means if you open it, the flap, if you are opening, so flap will behave just like a screen, and the down flap behave like a keyboard, means just like a laptop. Wearable computers. These computers are fit into the other bodies, and that's why it is known as wearable computers. These are very small and lightweight, as they needed to be carried out on human body. It can came in the form of bracelet, pendant, spectacles, and the rings. It is used for monitoring animals' movement. You might have seen the Holidays movie, so there Akshay Kumar is using in his wrist. So this is very useful. This is the work for the, we can say, the homework for the chapter number 2. You have to do this and you have to write down on your theory notebook, as I have mentioned in the first video. If I have not mentioned, so you have to make the 2 notebook, the 1 notebook for theory, another notebook for the practical. So this you have to write in the theory notebook. And in the chapter 1 I have not given the homework, so I am giving in this. So this is the homework for the chapter number 1 you have to do on the theory notebook. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you so much.